Hello. Here we're going to be doing solving two-step equations. Basically, we're doing one variable and one equation, and we're solving for each equation or each variable. And yeah, so we're going to get a solution. And I guess we're going to have to be doing. I guess we could check. Yeah, we could solve for it, and then we could just check at the end. Yeah, we can do that. Um, yeah. Okay, let's just do the first one. So solve each equation. Okay, let's just do one. This is for the two-step. Two-step equations. We have this. Okay, let's have our game plan. Okay, I'm gonna be constantly repeating this over and over, but you know, repetition is good. What is our goal? Our goal is to solve for our variable. In this case, it's x. So we need to solve for x. What does that mean? We have to get everything else onto one side and x by itself on the other side. So what I like to do is pick a side. It doesn't matter. Uh, I like to think of it like this. Think of a barrier, and I tell myself, sorry, I needed to burp. Um, I tell myself, okay, which side do I want my x and which side do I want everything else? In this case, the numbers. I want, the x seems on this side, so I'm just gonna say this is the x side. And I would say that this is the number side. Or everything else, which is, well, in this case, it's just numbers. Now, because if there was other stuff, then you would have to put it on the other side. But the same principle is still the same thing. You get x on one side, everything else on the other side. In this case, there's no like other variables. It's just numbers, so it's just the number side. So x side, number side. You could do it either way. It does not matter. Okay. Now we have this. Well, this is tied together, but we can move this x. Since this is a plus 6, how do we move it to the other side? Do we just do plus 6 on both sides? Well, no, we can't because this won't cancel out. What you have to do is subtract 6 on both sides. The reason why we want that is, well, our goal. We want x by itself. This is not tied to any x, so we can just move it to the other side. And whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. You have to balance things out. Now, plus 6 minus 6, that cancels out. That's nothing. So what you're left with on the left side is x divided by negative 2. Now, what is 4 minus 6? 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Now, do we have x only by itself on this side? No, we do not. We're dividing x by 2. We just want the x by itself. So how do we get rid of dividing by negative 2? Well, in order to do that, we have to, what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we have to times something where we need to cancel these numbers out. And what that number is, it's with itself. The same number. You multiply the same number. Negative 2. The reason why we do negative 2, exactly, not just 2, because we're going to be left with a negative. We want to get rid of the entire thing. We just want x by itself. So, negative 2 divided by negative 2 is just 1. It cancels out. So all we're left with is x. But we times negative 2 on this side, so we have to times negative 2 on this side. So this means that this side is 4, because negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. What we're left on the left side? Well, we're just left with x, because we canceled the negative 2's. That's it. So our x is 4. Let's just plug it in and just do the checking, because it looks like they want you to check your solution. Let's just do that. This is our equation. We replaced x with what? A 4, because that's what our answer was. So instead of an x, we just replace it with a 2. Or I mean with a 4. And then we divide it by negative 2. We have that plus 6, 4. This is our original equation, but we just change x to be 4, because that's what we said that x is. So what is 4 divided by 2? It is actually negative 2. The reason why it's negative 2, well, we have a negative, and we have to carry that negative. If there was a negative on the top, then it will become a positive. It's like the same thing as like when you multiply two negative numbers, it becomes a positive. Well, if you divide a negative by another negative number, it becomes a positive. The negatives cancels out. And if you only have one of them to be a negative, then it becomes a negative. So if you have like the same thing with the multiplication, if you have one number that's a negative times another number, but that's a positive, then it becomes a negative number. Same idea with division. You need both. Since there's only one negative and there's no negative on the top, so that means it's an answer of a negative. So what is 4 divided by 2? It's just 2, but we have a negative, so it's negative 2. Okay, now we have negative 2 plus 6. I'm just going to drag this side down. Negative 2 plus 6 is actually 4. So this is actually true. 4 equals 4. At least the last time I checked. A little joke, but yeah. So we checked. So our answer is actually 4. This is our check. There you go. Let's do number 2. We have 14 j minus 7 91. Same thing. Okay, well, what are we doing? We're trying to solve for the variable. In this case, our variable is j. Same thing. I'm just drawing the line. We have to decide which side do we want our j to be. Well, since the j is over here, and I'm just going to put the j side as this side, and this side to be the number side. So, there you go. Now, the reason why I do this j side, because I see it's a negative. I always want my the j to be a positive. If it was a negative, I could have moved it around, but since it was like over here, I technically could have moved this over here and then this over here. I should have done that as an example, because this is a perfect example for it. But it doesn't matter. As long as you're doing it correctly, you're good. Step by step. Let me get a drink. Okay. Okay. We want j's only to be on this side. Okay, this has a j in it, so we're just going to leave it for right here for right now. Now, this does not have a j. It's by itself. We want the numbers on this side, so we have to move that negative 7 onto the other side. How do we move it? We need to cancel it out, that negative 7. What's the opposite of negative 7? A positive 7. Oops, that's positive. Sorry, I was looking at the 91. I was about to write 91. Now, -7 plus 7 is 0. They cancel out. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. You have to balance it out. So we got 91 plus 7. And that is 98. Bring it down. We didn't do anything to the 14j. Okay, so is j by itself? No, it's not. There's a 14 in front. Another way to look at it, it's 14 times j. What's the opposite of timesing? Division. How do we get rid of that 14? We have to divide by 14. The reason why we want to divide by 14 is because the 14s will cancel out. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Since we divided by 14 on one side, we have to divide 14 on the other side. So we have j equal to, what is that? Actually don't know. Let's see, 98, 14, there's if we do 70, it'll be 7 times, yeah, 28, yeah, it'll be that.